Good morning. I've no idea if this is actually working. I hate it when I go live because I usually mess it up. I put it in vertical instead of landscape. Anyway, good morning, year 11. The subject of today's talk is being calm for the exam. I'm not going to keep you long. My acronym is TEACUP. T-C-U-P. Think calmly under pressure. So this is the mantra that I'm going to tell myself as I'm walking into school. Teacup, teacup. Think calmly under pressure. And I'm going to give you some tactics in the exam that will help you be calm. So I'm not teaching you anything new in this video. You already know heaps of stuff. You've been revising for however long. You've been in school for however long. You've got a wealth of knowledge that's just sitting in your brain, and you need to be calm to let it come out, to let it flow. So, no new content. However, what do I do in the exam that's going to help me organise myself to get top marks? If you've had success in the mocks, don't change anything. If you've struggled in the mocks, I've got some top tips. So, let's imagine the question is horrible. I don't think it will be, but let's just plan for worst case scenario. The question is horrible and you don't have the quotes to answer it. So imagine it's a Macbeth question and the quote that pops into my head is Lady Macbeth, unsex me here. It's got nothing to do with Banquo. But then you just sit back a bit. Why did she want to be unsexed? Oh yes, she wanted to become male to be more cruel. Okay, so then I say to myself, was Banquo cruel? Oh, actually, no, he wasn't. Well, that's quite interesting. Shakespeare's showing that Banquo isn't cruel. All right, and that leads me to another thought. Was Macbeth cruel? Oh, yeah, there was that bit about him unseaming the enemy from the nave to the chops. All right, so I can now write about how Banquo is completely different from Macbeth and different from his wife. Oh, that's really interesting. And that quotation, unsex me here, has suddenly allowed me to write about Banquo. Or let's imagine that you're writing about Christmas Carol and the question is about family, and the quote that comes into your head is solitary as an oyster. And you go, blimey, how the hell am I going to adapt that to that question? That's all I can remember. All right, so why is Scrooge solitary? Well, he doesn't really like his family. He stays away from Fred. Okay, so Scrooge chooses to be solitary. It's a choice to be not with his family. Okay, now I can use solitary as an oyster to write about that. Well, what if the quote is, about the poor and how if they don't like it, they'd better die? How am I going to relate that to the family? Okay, so it doesn't relate to Scrooge's family, but Scrooge is a symbol that Dickens is using. How can he use that with the family? Ah, I've got it. Scrooge turns out to be a father at the end of the novel to Tiny Tim, but also to lots of the poor. He gives loads of money to charity, and Dickens wants the reader to be like a father to the poor and give to the poor. And so that is treating other people in the world like your own family, and that's what's wrong with that quote. If they don't like it, if they'd rather die, then they'd better do it. Okay, now I can use that phrase. He's learnt how he needs to be a father to other people rather than hold this old view. So you take the quotes that you know, the ones that you're already familiar with, and you think, how can I fit them to the question? So back when my son took GCSEs, he used this technique where he said, I'm only going to learn about 12 quotes, and whatever the question is, I'm going to apply those quotes to that question. And just doing that made him get 1 mark off full marks, and he hardly knew any quotes. He thought The Inspector Calls was the worst play ever written, but he still got full marks on the question with that technique. So that's super important. Now, the other important thing is the exam is actually not just a test of what you know, it's a test of how calmly you can keep going. A long time ago, teachers used to be allowed into the exam room. And what you would see is, an hour into the exam, loads of people would be pens down, looking up, and they'd be like, I'm thinking, sir, I'm thinking. Right? But thinking gets no marks whatsoever. And sometimes they were giving up, and other times they were genuinely thinking that they were thinking. But of course they weren't writing anything. So my top tip is, writing is thinking. Go back to what I just did about the quotes, how one quote gave me an idea about another quote or about another character. When you're writing, that's what your brain does. Your brain is a machine for making connections, like all the time. So when you're writing, your brain just thinks of the next idea, and then the next idea, and the next idea. If you're not worried, if you're thinking calmly under pressure. So here's the thing. Let's say I write something that's rubbish, yeah? Don't worry about that, because you write something that's rubbish and your brain will go, oh no, that's rubbish, because what I really mean is this. And then you'll write the stuff that isn't rubbish. You've got two choices. You can cross out the bit that's rubbish, or you can leave it in, because the examiners don't take marks away for the rubbish bits. They just mark the bits that are good. So that is an absolutely top tip. Just keep writing, because you'll get more ideas. Think of it as buying lottery tickets. Let's say the lottery has got 50 people in it. The more tickets you buy, the more chance you've got of winning. And it's exactly the same in the exam. The more points that you write down, the more ideas, the more chance you get of getting a higher grade. So, as long as I'm calm in the exam and I don't chuck ideas away and think, oh, I'm just not doing very well in this exam, oh, this is a failure, I'm terrible. If I leave all that and think, oh, that's not a very good idea, but it leads me to think of something else, I'm going to get higher marks. So remember, TEACUP, TEACUP, think calmly under pressure. Okay. There is another way to get round quotations where it's kind of on the tip of your tongue, but you can't get the exact words. So in the mark scheme, the examiners say you have to make references to the text. They don't say you need actual quotations. So a lot of the time, you might just remember one word. Well, write about the one word and then paraphrase the other words around it. So, you know, if I'm thinking about Macbeth and tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, I can't remember how many tomorrows there are. Life creeps in, I can't remember. What to the end of time, what. Oh, I don't know, I'll just write about tomorrow. So then I can just say, well, Macbeth reveals his despair and nihilism when he talks about tomorrow lasting forever. Time has stood still. I'm making this up, by the way. Time has stood still, and he no longer imagines a proper future for him. This suggests he knows he's going to die, and maybe even welcomes it. Okay? Now, I didn't have the full quote. I just had tomorrow, and I gambled that there's probably 2 tomorrows, maybe 3, so I could have put the 3 in. If there were only 2 tomorrows, or if there were 4, and I put 3 in, the examiner would go, I don't care. Like, that's a proper quote. I'll have it. So you can do it with just one word. The key is not to panic, because obviously you're thinking, I can't remember the quote. Oh my God, the examiner's going to hate me. Oh, I'm done for. But no, the examiner's going to say, nice, you pulled that one out of the bag. You picked on one word and you said something about it. Sweet, here's a mark. So just be calm, trust in the process, trust in your revision. Now, you have extracts today, and the examiners say start with the extract. If that's worked for you in the mocks, brilliant, keep doing that. If that hasn't worked for you in the mocks, because you look at the extract and you think, I just don't know which quotes to pick, oh my God, what the hell is this about? Then if that happens to you, just start answering the question without the extract. So let's say it's on violence or poverty or what have you. You just think back to your text. Oh, how did violence start? And then just think, okay, I'll write a 3-minute plan about violence, or 3-minute plan about poverty, or 3-minute plan about hypocrisy, whatever it is that you're doing in the exam. Spend your 3 minutes writing down all the things that you can remember, and then after your 3-minute plan, start writing. Because as you're going through, you will find something that reminds you of the extract, and then you'll put it in where it happens. Obviously, if you're used to starting with the extract and you're looking at it and the quotes make total sense, start there. Like, don't change anything from the mocks. But this is a way for you not to panic if the extract isn't what you want. So, when you get to the extract, because that's the point in the text, the novel or the play that you're writing about, just think, okay, well, what can I find in here? And it's exactly the same as before. If some of the quotes don't leap out at you, just pick one that you think, oh, that might fit, and then analyse a word or two in it. The examiner, again, isn't looking for like the perfect fit. They don't have a perfect answer. They're just saying, right, we've stuck you under pressure. Can you find something to help your argument? And the answer is always yes. Why? Because the examiner has picked the extract precisely because it fits the question. There is also no set number of quotes you need from the extract, which is great. So, you can get by on 2 or 3 quite happily and still get a fantastic grade. So, again, think calmly under pressure. TEACUP. Now, I got up really early today because I'm super nervous. Not because I'm taking the exam, although in a way I am, because I've made all these prediction videos. If you've watched one of those prediction videos but didn't get to the end, at the end I show you how to apply what I've taught you in the video to any other question. And that is the next way to think calmly under pressure. Let's imagine you revised one topic and another topic comes up in the exam. Exactly the same as you did for the quotes, it's quite easy to say, oh, hang on, I know this about a character or a theme. Can I work that in to my answer about this other character or theme? And at least 50% of what you've learned about one character, you can probably use to talk about another, or about one character to talk about a theme. If you're calm, these ideas will come to you. TEACUP. Now, it is 23 minutes past 7, and I have got to go to Luton because I'm teaming up with Mr. Everything English, the man who is smashing it on YouTube. I shall see you later. Let me know in the comments how you do in the exam, and I really hope I got some of those predictions right. Good luck. This will be weird because I've got to work out how to turn this off for turning it upside down. There we go. Orientation is locked. You can't turn it off. See you later.